Can Dr. Doom defeat the entire Justice League except Darkseid and Hyperion? In an ancient castle nestled in the snow-capped Carpathian Mountains, the light of a quantum reactor burns deep underground. Dr. Victor Von Doom, supreme dictator of Latveria, a scientific genius and master of ancient magic, is preparing for a journey beyond the boundaries of reality. Not because of the power he already has, not because of his fame that surpasses that of any king. Doom desires what no other man has ever achieved, the absolute perfection of reason in the face of cosmic chaos. And to do so, he must confront the collective power of another universe, the Justice League. Dr. Doom is not just a genius far ahead of his time. He once stole the power of the Silver Surfer, a feat that could only happen in the pages of books crafted by the grand imagination of the House of Ideas. He appropriated a portion of the Beyonder's energy, an entity that could tear apart reality with just a thought. He was once imbued with the Beyonder's power by Molecule Man, becoming God Emperor Doom, an entity that holds all the power of the multiverse in his hands. And that's just the beginning. In his hands is technology so advanced that it makes Lex Luthor's creations look like wooden toys put together by children. Doom's battle armor, created by Plot Inc., in the endless flow of creativity, is a symbol of the ability to surpass all normal physical laws. As he enters the world of Justice League, Doom faces legendary figures. Superman, the embodiment of justice and light. Wonder Woman, the immortal Amazon warrior. Batman, the genius strategist with a dark and iron determination. Flash, the speed beyond time. Green Lantern, the will to transform reality. Martian Manhunter, the wisdom and power from a distant planet. But Doom comes not only with the iron fist of technology, but also with the ancient art of Latverian magic. He was once considered for the position of Sorcerer Supreme, a title that only Doctor Strange holds. In him exists a perfect harmony of science and magic. Doom doesn't enter the fray with raw power. He plans, he calculates. He views each member of the Justice League through a cold, tactical lens. With Batman, he traps them in a quantum maze where every decision is reflected back in paranoia. With Superman, Doom creates an antimatter reality where sunlight is toxic to Kryptonian cells. With Wonder Woman, he summons the spirits of goddesses who fought the ancient Amazons not to kill her, but to make her doubt her own ideals. Every move Doom makes is a grand gambit in a cross-dimensional chess game. However, the Justice League are not ordinary heroes. They are the ones who have faced threats from the antimatter universe, overcoming world destroyers like the Anti-Monitor and Perpetua. Flash, with his intuition and speed beyond the universe, discovers that Doom is using a Tower of Reincarnation, a device that reverses the laws of cause and effect. Wonder Woman, though shaken, finds answers in the labyrinth of truth. Batman, though trapped, recognizes the repeating logic pattern in the maze, breaking the cycle with his own transcendent mind. The battle between Doom and the Justice League quickly turns into an epic, where each attack carries the weight of opposing philosophical systems. Doom's totalitarian order versus the hero's ideals of freedom. Doom summons himself from dozens of different timelines, each a great being or lord of a separate reality. Dooms from Earth 938, Earth 616, Earth 412 merge into a single mind, a superego. The Justice League is aided by entities like the Spectre, the Phantom Stranger, and even the Monitor. But Doom is undeterred. He has looked upon the power of the Beyonder and refused to kneel. He has turned Thanos' skeleton into a throne. His power lies not only in his hands, but in his absolute refusal to accept defeat. But there are still two entities Doom has not touched: Darkseid, the embodiment of cosmic oppression, and Hyperion, the almighty mirror of Superman, but with a more rigid and less benevolent belief system. Darkseid does not care about Doom. He only cares about the equation of anti-life. But when he sees Doom shaking the very order of the Source Wall, even the Lord of Apocalypse takes notice. The battle between Doom and Darkseid is not fought with fists, but with philosophy, ideals, and existence. Hyperion, unlike Superman, does not hold back. When he realizes that Doom can destroy everything, he does not talk. He attacks with the full power of a living star. And here Doom faces his real challenge. Not because he is weak, but because neither Darkseid nor Hyperion fall into the strategic trap. They are constants that cannot be compromised. No one knows exactly how Doom found the coordinates to the Source Wall, the most ancient and sacred boundary of the DC universe, where all questions are born and all answers disappear. The Source Wall is more than a physical wall. It is a realm, a place where egos are stripped bare, where all wills are tested in the struggle between existence and nothingness. Entities as great as the Promethean giants, the Monitors, even concepts like hope and entropy have been sealed there, turned into immobile statues for all eternity. And in that space, As Doom entered with his armor glowing with the ancient language of the primal entities, he met him. Darkseid, no introduction, no threatening gesture, just a look, as heavy as the mass of Apocalypse itself, dark, eternal, and filled with contempt. "You came for the anti-life equation?" Darkseid said quietly, his eyes never leaving Doom. "No," Doom replied, his voice cold. "I came to test whether your equation can truly break a will like mine. The anti-life equation is no ordinary formula. It is a demonic expression that contains within it the complete negation of free will. When infused into the mind, it not only makes its victims obey, it makes them deny all hope, all self, all values that once nourished their souls." Darkseid, in majestic silence, begins to cast the anti-life equation. Not in words, not in symbols, but in essence. The space around Doom begins to collapse. Every logical rule he has ever controlled becomes meaningless. He feels himself being torn apart into conceptual particles, analyzed, reversed, rejected. But Doom does not collapse. In his mind, there is another structure, not of faith, but of conviction. He has lived his life to reach the pinnacle of power, not to dominate others, but to never be dominated. He has rejected Reed Richards' offer of salvation. He had turned his back on death. He had turned his back on reality itself. And now, he turned his back on the anti-freedom equation with absolute tenacity. Darkseid took a step back. When the anti-life equation was stopped, reality could not bear the pressure of the two wills colliding. From the cracks of space, the beyond entities began to rise. Monitor Prime, the guardian of the universe. Highfather, the counterweight to Darkseid's light. Spectre, the wrath of God. Lucifer Morningstar, the bearer of true light, uncorrupted by human morality. They did not come to fight, they came to observe. Because Doom and Darkseid were no longer two individuals. They were two living principles. Doom represented the unyielding will, an individual who existed by transcending all limitations. Darkseid was the pure law of fate. All life would be sucked into the black hole of obedience. Their dialogue now transcended the form of human communication. It became a violent storm between the levels of ideas, where layers of philosophy collided. Darkseid, freedom is an illusion, you know that, Doom? Doom, that illusion is the only thing that separates great men from tools. Darkseid, you call yourself God? Doom, I am what remains when both gods and reality fail. Doom did not defeat Darkseid, but Darkseid could not defeat Doom. Instead, a truth was born at the border of the source wall. Not power, not fear, but the refusal to give up is the ultimate power. When Doom stepped out of the source wall, he did not return to Latveria, nor to his own world. He headed straight for the space where a being guarded the gates that connected the universes. Hyperion, the perfect being, a being formed from the energy of a living star. Possessing the power of Superman, Hyperion was also the embodiment of uncompromising justice. Unhindered by compassion, unmoved by moral ambiguity, he was justice in the form of fire, and fire had only one function, to burn away anything that did not fit. Doom knew he could not negotiate with Hyperion. He also knew Hyperion would not talk. People like Hyperion did not ask why, they just acted. When Doom stepped into the Hyperion space, he was guarding a dimension burning around the core of a white dwarf. The battle erupted instantly, no warning, no tactics. Just speed and force beyond any measurement in the multiverse. Hyperion's first punch did not penetrate Doom's armor, but it did cause the planet behind him to disintegrate into dust. Doom was blown through hundreds of miles of quantum space. The armor that had withstood the energy of the Beyonder and Molecule Man now had small cracks. But he did not flinch. He teleported instantly, using ancient magic combined with quantum technology, appearing right behind Hyperion, and unleashing a prototypical wave of entropy that could expand and collapse local space-time. Hyperion turned, his eyes blazing like two suns. His body radiated energy from its atomic core, a living force that could not be duplicated, could not be programmed. He passed through the entropy field as if it were smoke, and pinned Doom in the disintegrating space. Hyperion, you are an aberration that does not belong in this universe. Doom, I did not come to belong. I came to challenge. Doom activated his dynasty, a device built into his armor that could summon versions of himself from countless parallel realities. But it took Hyperion only seconds to incinerate dozens of Dooms from Earth 982, Earth X, and even a Doom from his universe as the Black Priest. Doom understood that this battle could not be won by force. Hyperion was the embodiment of cosmic energy, programmed to maintain absolute balance. All deviations, all instability, all outsiders were to be purged. But Doom was never one to back down. He did not defeat Hyperion with force, but with information. As Hyperion closed in, Doom transmitted to his mind a series of memories, not of his own, but of all the realities where Hyperion had failed, where he had become a tyrant, where he had caused destruction, where he had personally killed the Justice League and the Avengers for noble reasons, Hyperion roared, backing away. He was not used to doubt. In Hyperion's mind, justice was a straight line with no branches, no choices. But Doom had just implanted in him the most dangerous thing of all, the ability to question. Doom did not need to kill Hyperion. He made Hyperion pause, and that was the greatest victory when facing an absolute power. Dr. Doom stands in a nameless reality with no light, no sound, no gravity. There is only himself and the endless void that stretches like a black mirror, reflecting back every action he has ever committed. He has defied the Justice League. He has faced Darkseid without bowing. He has made Hyperion, the eternal light of the universe, pause to think. But the universe does not sing. No monuments are erected. No songs of victory are written. Doom's rise, after all, is not for humanity, not for heroism, not for justice or peace. Doom ascends to a throne erected in space and time, a throne with no name, no symbol, only the fragments of shattered reality that wrap around him like ribbons of fate denied. Atop his head, an invisible crown forms, forged not from gold or silver, but from the helpless eyes of those who once thought themselves invincible. Alone on his throne, Doom began to feel something he had never felt before on the battlefields of physics, the silence of absolute victory. He was used to the screams, to the shuddering sound of reality being bent. He was used to the punches, the strategic puzzles, the battles of wills that transcended human thought. But here, where there was no one left to confront, he felt hollow. For power was meaningless without someone strong enough to oppose it. In the distance, a small crack appeared in the absolute darkness. Not an invasion, not a threat, but an invitation. An entity appeared formless, nameless, without a clear purpose, but with an offer. A portal to layers of reality no one had ever set foot on. Dimensions where the laws of Marvel and DC are just the tip of a larger universe, where entities like the one above all, the presence or mother of existence, are just fragments of memory. The Justice League survives, broken, but not broken. Wonder Woman finds her faith in truth. Flash begins to understand that speed is not the ultimate power, but what you leave behind when you run. Batman, still alive, still in pain, realizes that there may be another mind, not insane, but still far more dangerous than the Joker. Doom, and Darkseid, from Apocalypse, looks out at the lightless sky. He says nothing. But in his icy eyes, something very rare appears: caution. Hyperion, the almost god with a heart of stone, begins to look at the world not with hardness, but with the question, am I right? A question he had never considered before. And Doom, he needs no praise, no monuments, no honor. The victor needs no one to remember him, Doom once said. As long as the entire universe never forgets the feeling of being defeated by him. And so Doom stepped through the final portal into dimensions of reality no one had ever known. Not to conquer, not to destroy, but to continue the question he had never let go of. If there were no limits, would there be any purpose?